What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video at K-Rock's Photography YouTube channel. Today I'll be making a video on my camera gear. What camera do I use, what lens, because I do get a lot of messages on my Instagram page, people asking me what camera gear I use and all that. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what camera I have. I specifically use a Nikon D810. This is the professional one, and I also do use the extra battery grip at the bottom, just so when you're holding the camera it fits perfect in your hand and you're not gonna drop it or anything. And when you're trying to do portraits of people or anything like that, you can turn the camera sideways, and you also have the shutter release on this angle too. So from here you can do portrait. So you have shutter release on the side and the landscape version. For me personally, I've used the Nikon D3200, which is the beginner's camera. So if you're looking to get into photography for the first time, I highly recommend that camera. It's basically a kit lens, comes with a nice lens, and the camera itself is really good. And I used that camera for 4 years and learned how to use the manual mode, all of that. Then I ended up selling that and getting a little bit nicer and bigger camera, just because I knew that I was gonna have this camera for next 2-3 years. So yeah, so I ended up getting a Nikon D3200, D810. Yeah, so I'm guessing today's almost every single Nikon, Canon, Sony going mirrorless, and I'm guessing you can find used one on eBay or even Amazon, or even locally. Probably almost half of the price. I think right now if you buy the Nikon D810 from Best Buy or any other store, it goes for around $2,700-$2,800. So by no means is a cheap camera, but there's people out there who have used it and selling it for really almost half of the price. I've seen some these cameras on eBay going for almost $1,200 to $1,500 with really less count or shutter count. So yeah, this camera is really good. It does also take 2 memory cards, so if you do professional wedding photography and you're afraid that your memory card is gonna get errors or anything like that, so you always have a backup memory card. So even if one goes corrupted, you always have a second memory card so you don't lose any photos. So today's mirrorless, the new mirrorless camera doesn't come with 2 memory cards. It only comes with 1, but now they're slowly starting to come out with 2 memory cards. So that's where a lot of people don't buy the new mirrorless, just because it doesn't have 2 memory card, because a lot of the professional wedding photographers or other people would like to have 2 memory cards, just because you can have a backup, just in case if you lose the images on one of the memory cards. But yeah, but anyways, for the lenses, ever since I bought the camera, I've been using the Sigma series lens, or Sigma Art series lens. By far the most sharpest lens I have ever used. I have used the Nikon brand lenses, but comparing to Sigma is really nice. Even though the lenses itself are really heavy, it makes your camera almost like 10 pound, not really, but like makes it much more heavier. But the glass itself and the lens, really high quality, takes really nice photo. Never had an issue with it. And yeah, so the 2 most lenses that I use, the first one is by far, I use it almost 80%, is the Sigma Art series 50mm for the Nikon. My go-to lens is the 50mm. If you want to get the bokeh in the background or anything, perfect for that. and I also use a polarizer on all of my lenses. If you don't know what polarizer is, it's basically a circular polarizer. So if you shooting car photography and if there's reflections on the windshield or on the window, so if you turn the polarizer, it's gonna remove the reflections, and then that way you can have no reflection on the car itself, and that way you can take cleaner photos. So I always use polarizers on all my lenses. The brand that I use is a Platinum. I use the Platinum brand. You can get this from Amazon or anywhere else. There are some more other polarizer which really expensive, but this does the job for me. I'm not looking to get like a $200 polarizer and all of that. Yeah, so this 50mm Art Series Sigma lens for the Nikon, except the 77mm polarizer. So yeah, so this is my 50mm. Next up, next lens I use is the Sigma. This is the Art Series 24 to 105 millimeter. So if you're looking to get a little bit of wide angle, this is perfect, because the other one is a 50, this one is a 24. So even if you're really close to the subject you're shooting, is you'll still get the whole subject in the camera itself or in the photo. So yeah, so right now I have the lens hood on top, and it goes from 24 to 105, and it stays at f4, and it does take the 82 millimeter polarizer, and I do have the same polarizer that I showed you on the other lens. Same thing. This one is a little bit bigger polarizer, but you can get step down rings for the lenses, where you can buy only one polarizer and then use the step down rings for your lenses on the other or any other lenses, so you don't have 5 other polarizer for all of the lenses. The one thing that I really like about this lens is it does have the stabilization in the lens itself, because the body doesn't have stabilization. So if you're shooting in dark or anything like that, you really need a tripod, and just so you don't get a lot of shakiness in the photos. So this does have the stabilization, if you can see. I don't know if it's gonna focus. So it has the autofocus, manual focus, and the stabilization. So if you turn it on, try to take photos, it's gonna try to do its best to have the lens itself not shake, and that way you can have crispy photos. It does come with the lens hood, so if you're shooting in really sunny outdoors, you can use the lens hood to block some of the lights and all of that. So this is my whole camera gear. So the battery grip, it does take a battery, so if you're trying to shoot, if you just hold down the shutter button, it's going to take a bunch of photos. So this does take the extra battery, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back in. Locks in, and then if I go ahead and turn it on, you'll see so even if you're holding down the trigger, it does take a lot of photos, around 10 to 12 photos. So if you're really shooting outdoors or sporting events, it's really good for that too. So you can just hold on the shutter and get all those shots. All around, it's a really good camera if you going from beginners DSLR to this. Currently I have this camera for 2 years, and it's a really good camera. The only one downfall of this camera that I don't like is it doesn't shoot in 4K video, and I'm slowly trying to get into the making 4K videos for my Instagram page or anything like that. that's the only downfall. It only shoots in 1080p, which in today's day age is just not that good. So I might be switching to a mirrorless that shoots in 4K. I'm still looking around to see what I want to go with. As you probably know, that there's a Nikon Z6 or Z7. There's a Canon EOS R, which is really good. I heard really good things about it. Then there's Sony. Even though Sony hasn't been in the market or camera market for that long, they've been making mirrorless camera really nice. The video quality on those cameras is really good. Shoots in 4K at 30 frames per second, all of that. So if I had the option of buying another camera, I would definitely go with either the Canon EOS R mirrorless or Sony the A7R Mark III. I know the Mark IV just came out, but that's for way beyond me. That's for way professional photographers. I think that camera goes for around, pre-order starts are around $3,800, and that just for the body itself. You're going to be spending another $500 on the drip itself, another $1,000 to $1,500 for one lens, and then you're going to use another lens on all of that. So yeah, so if I'll switch, I'll definitely will be making another video on my updated camera and all of that. So anything like that, go ahead and message me at krox_GT350. And also don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I'll be making more videos in the future on more tutorials on what tools I use on Photoshop to edit my photos, all of that. So yeah, so go ahead and leave a comment, subscribe, and catch you guys on the next video.